Yeah, we're excited about it. Clemens Food Group is a 120-year-old family business located in southeast Pennsylvania. We produce about 2 million pork products a day, ham, bacon, hot dogs. Most people here probably wouldn't hear of Clemens Food Group, but if you've eaten bush beans, the bacon in there would be from Clemens Food Group. Campbell's potato and ham soup would be our product. Ruth Chris, it would be a customer, and a number of customers in food service, retail, and B2B.
Did you say 2 million a day?
2 million pounds a day.
Wow.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yep. So, and we've been on a significant growth trend, especially in about the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And the exciting part about that is we were actually looking to expand, and Ohio was kind of in our sights because we have some producer partners in Ohio that we were talking with and actually looking at some land. But at the same time, a group of hog producers, family farmers in Michigan, got a small grant from the Department of Ag in Michigan to do a feasibility study on a pork processing plant in the state of Michigan. And we were asked to be part of that with them if we would help them with the feasibility study. And we're going to be breaking ground in 60 days. A $250 million capital project, 1,000 employees, and we'll be doubling.
All right.
This year. So,
All right. Dave Zilko, you're in Ferndale, and you have a great story as well. And oftentimes when they talk about your particular business, I keep hearing the word food entrepreneurship. How does that fit in, and what does that mean to you?
Well, for those of you who don't know, Garden Fresh Gourmet was founded by a person who I think is one of the greatest food entrepreneurs in the United States right now, Jack Aronson, and his wife, Annette. They found themselves bankrupt in a 1,200 square foot restaurant in Ferndale, 8.5 in Woodward, 17 years ago. Jack was literally desperate, trying to pay his electric bill, pulls out a 5-gallon bucket, and in 15 minutes makes what is today Garden Fresh's artichoke garlic salsa. So I met him about 5 years after that. He was still struggling. I was struggling too. I had founded my own company a few years beforehand. Somehow got him liquored up enough to make me a partner, and along with a lot of other very talented people. These things are collaborations. Fast forward to today, so Garden Fresh is the #1 brand of fresh salsa in the United States. We're the 3rd largest hummus manufacturer in the United States. We're the #1 brand of tortilla chips and merchandise in the deli in this country. We're the 9th leading brand of dips. Employ 457 people, 200,000 square feet of manufacturing space in 4 plants all over Michigan.
All right. Senator Stabenow, you're the ranking member of the Senate Agriculture Committee.
Right.
You got a lot of attention in the media last year when you passed a new bill. How does all of this fit agriculture into the overall economy of not just Michigan, but the United States in general?
Well, Chuck, first of all, I say all the time, we don't have an economy unless we make things and grow things. And the good news is that's what we do in Michigan. And you have to then add value to that, which is what all of these great leaders are talking about. In Michigan, we're over $100 billion on the agriculture economy. And when you add up the food industry, just about 1 out of 4 people in Michigan in some way work in the food industry. And when you look at the fact that we have more diversity of crops than any other state but California, so we grow more different kinds of things. We actually grow more than we actually process. So we grow it, get shipped somewhere else, Pennsylvania,
yeah.
processed, come back, eat it. So the capacity for us to expand upon what we grow, to make, to process, to package, to create new businesses is incredible. And then when you add in this farm bill, because even though when I was chairing the committee in 2011, this is a predominantly rural economic development committee, but I was looking for a way to help Detroit in the process. And so the farm bill funds farmers markets. We have the longest continuously operating farmers market in the country, in the Eastern market. And because of Dan and the great efforts going on there, the vision is incredible for locally sourcing, supporting local communities. People want to know where their food's coming from. There's much more emphasis on organics, local food systems, and so on. So we rewrote the Farm Bill, basically, to support the ability to have local food systems, greatly expand farmers markets, organic efforts, other kinds of things, local gardens, school gardens. Detroit Public Schools has about 100 school gardens now, thanks to Betty Wiggins and an awesome group there. So we rewrote things to really focus on what consumers are asking for, which is more local food systems. And as I was going around doing all this, you know, you travel around the country, you always think the experts are somewhere else. So I'm traveling around the country talking to people about local food systems and urban agriculture, and they kept looking at me and saying, well, why are you talking to us? The experts are in Detroit. The experts are in Detroit. And so what you see, and what Walter was showing with all the wonderful people that were up, that he was showing, there are hundreds more people that are doing great things, from Corridor Sausage in Eastern Market, doing all kinds of wonderful artisan sausages, to McClure's Pickles, it's all over the Midwest, to lava cakes, chocolate lava cakes being made by Shay's Chloe, who is now actually has a contract to sell if you go from Detroit to Paris on Air France. And by the way, I love Delta. I love Delta. But and we got to get this on Delta. But chocolate lava cakes made in Detroit, Eastern Market, are being sold, are actually on Air France. So there are incredible stories going on, and every one of those is a small business that will become a bigger business and hire more people. And it's the food economy that is, I think, a very important part of our future.
Yeah, and Chuck, what the senator is saying on a micro level is really happening on a macro level. Michigan has always been blessedly provincial with respect to our retailers for supporting local food products, and Mr. Robb's company is, they're not a, you know, they're based in Austin, Texas, but they still support local food products as much as anybody. But there's a phenomenon happening in the US culture right now, food culture, in that people want local, genuine, authentic food. You see it in the farm-to-table movement. You see it in Whole Foods. Mr. Robb's store, they will not, we sell to them, they will not allow preservatives in the building. My favorite example of this is Budweiser beer. Their market share has fallen for 23 consecutive years. And it's because people want local craft beer. So the era of big food is over. It really is dead. People don't want industrialized, commoditized food. They want local, and what the senator's saying, local is local. You can't outsource local food production to China or Mexico. It's got to be local. And again, the era of big food is dead. Kraft just got bought by a big private equity firm. I promise you, they didn't go in there and bump their R&D budget to come up with an organic Velveeta. I mean, that's not what's going on here. Everything's got to be local, genuine, authentic. And really, Mr. Robb's company pioneered this craze.
Yeah. How much of the success of this business has to do with the amount that you all give back in your individual communities? Because I know that all of you do individual things, and that seems to be part of your core philosophy as well, right, Craig?
Yeah, yep. I can give you three things at our organization, and this is 120 years of history. So we have Christian principles, and one of them is we tithe. So 10% of our operating income goes back to giving in our communities that we work and live in. We have a number of managers and leaders in the company. Our expectations are that you're involved in the community, nonprofit boards. If you're young, you know, coaching your daughter's soccer team, but those type of things we value and we encourage. And then we have a team leadership training where we bring young people in every year. It's a year course, but we give them part of the big finale is a stewardship project. Actually, it's you find out how you can better somebody in the community or some business in the community, and they choose. And it's a great team building and learning, and it's impactful, not just for that time, but ongoing. Many of them have joined nonprofit organizations that they've been involved with.
Chuck, I think this goes to the fundamental nature of capitalism, which, in my view, it needs to evolve, or it is evolving with the, you know, I mean, you have Howard Schultz at Starbucks saying, what is the role and responsibility of a public company? We're a public company as well, too, but what is the obligation of a company to participate in the community? Every company's based in a community, but sometimes they forget that that's where they're situated and maybe the responsibilities, but I don't understand how a company thinks that they can continue to grow and make profits without sharing those with the rest of the stakeholders. For me, that just seems sort of fundamental that companies have got to, if we want governments in the lubricant role, create the rails and sort of for the activity, and business is going to create the innovation, the jobs, and the growth, it needs to do so in such a way that's responsible to the larger ecosystem, if you will. That's my point of view, and I think that you're seeing more businesses that are taking those sorts of responsibilities seriously, building them in at their core or in whatever way that they're doing that, and I think that really is a way forward for business to take more responsibility to contributing to its communities, with its team members or whatever area. I think that's a fundamental evolution of business at this point. You can't expect to be successful in the world and not participate in the broader society.
Yeah, and Chuck, what's going on in our community that I find so interesting is market forces I was just talking about are moving in the direction of food entrepreneurs to the extent I've never seen before. Our blessedly provincial retailers, the fact that people want fresh food. And I told you how Garden Fresh's humble origins were. I started a food company 11 years before I met Jack and Annette Aronson, on a $2,500 credit card loan. I mean, I was trying to start a business, and what does every red-blooded American entrepreneur do when you want to start a business? You don't have any money, you apply for a credit card loan. That's the good news. The bad news is I was so broke, had tons of student loans, no revenue, I got turned down for it. So I did what every red-blooded American male entrepreneur does, you go to your girlfriend. Yeah. So she signed it.
You're recommending that for everybody.
Well, people ask all the time, I did marry her, we're still married to this day. So anyway, and I don't mean to make my fellow panelists blush here, but these two, the Senator and Mr. Robb, have put in so much along with Dan Carmody. And by the way, whatever Eastern Market's paying Dan Carmody is not enough. They've gotten together and put together a community kitchen. There's another one at Forgotten Harvest with Joyce General as the chairman, Kirk May, Steve Eben, where food entrepreneurs of today don't have to start, a company with their girlfriend's credit card loan, don't have to found their company in an unlicensed bankrupt restaurant like Garden Fresh was. They can literally go to these spaces and they've got a licensed commercial kitchen where they can accelerate their growth. And again, with market forces moving in that direction, not every company is going to break through and become a national brand like Garden Fresh did, but enough of them are, and you mentioned McClure's Pickles. Right. They have 25,000 square foot space in the Eastern Market, employing 50, 60 people. It's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with that.
And just to put another plug in talking about opportunities now, there's going to be a rollout very soon of the new Michigan Good Food Fund, which is partnering with what we did in the Farm Bill around healthy food financing. The state is coming in, Kellogg Foundation, Fair Food Network and Orrin and all the wonderful work that's being done there, but to create a way to finance retail operations. We need grocery stores in neighborhoods in underserved areas, so families are not just going to the liquor store trying to find some food. And we want them to all go to Whole Foods, but we got to get you in every neighborhood.
No,
no. But the truth is that the ability to finance processing and retail operations and so on, there's a wonderful new effort that's going to be unrolled shortly, which I want to give a shout out just to everybody that's been involved. And Chuck, I wanted to just mention one other thing, and that is we're hearing wonderful values here about giving back. I also think this is very smart business, and it's very smart for our state and our country to create opportunities for people to succeed so that you have customers. I mean, at some level, we have to lift up communities and create opportunities for jobs, for small businesses, for entrepreneurs, because that's the only way we're going to actually have a middle class in this country. It's the only way we're going to have customers and continue to grow. And so it's the right thing morally and ethically. Frankly, I think it's the right thing from a business standpoint if we actually want to grow the community.
As we talk about trying to revitalize our cities all across America, what do you all see as the future? What trends do you see perhaps coming down the line that have not perhaps even been written about?
It's what we've been talking about, food entrepreneurialism, and the fact that market forces are moving in this direction. And again, Garden Fresh is the largest employer in Ferndale by far. And the nice thing about the food economy is that people always have to eat. I mean, to be honest with you, we thrived during the recession. People stopped going to Disney World for a week. They stopped going out to restaurants. It never got so bad where they didn't keep buying chips and salsa and treat themselves to something on a Friday night. So to build on what the Senator is saying, I love how sustainable the food economy is, how important it can be to communities, and really to help build up the middle class.
Yeah, one thing is the vertical farming. So, for example, in Chicago, there's a company called Farmed Here, which is farming inside buildings. And as they talk about the urban communities becoming more self-reliant on the food, that's one thing that's happening. We're, they're taking over buildings and farming. So that's one thing that's happening. There's also, we have a store in Brooklyn, New York, where we have a 25,000 square foot greenhouse in the store that's raising 60,000 boxes of produce a year within the store. Hydroponically. So there's a lot of innovation that's happening in agriculture. We should say, and I think it would be fair to say that, look, conventional agriculture is doing very well too. If you look at the exports around the world, it's driving a lot of the success of the economy to the extent that it's moving. But this is equally vibrant and equally deserving of attention and resources. I think that's sort of the point, is that this is worth investing in, whether it's creating the legislation that enables some of this to happen, supporting the entrepreneurs in whatever way that you do for them to grow their businesses. This is a vibrant, active part of the economy right now.
Craig, as you extended your venture into Coldwater, Michigan, were there some key things that the state of Michigan and maybe even some organizations outside of Michigan did to help make that road a lot easier, so that down the line, hopefully, it will have a major impact on the state?
Absolutely. So one of Clemens Food Group, we call our selling method solution selling, bringing solutions to problems, but or to the needs of our customers. And one thing that the state did is really looked at, we're not skilled at getting permits and building. We know how to produce product. We know how to raise animals healthy and in proactive manner, and we know how to make and sell great pork products. But we don't know about building products. We don't know about permitting. We don't know. And they stepped in and really looked at, I know the previous group here talked about talent. Mm-hmm. They came in and said, okay, we got the MEDC, we'll help you with skills. And there's a community college in that town, and they're putting in a skills and a trade organization that's partnering with them through a grant to create more skills opportunities for employees that will support our venture. Also, Michigan Works, from a recruiting standpoint, has stepped in and said, we'll help you recruit. We'll show you how to do it. We know the area. We know Coldwater, and we'll come in and step in and do that. And then even the Department of Air Quality in the Michigan community here has stepped in and said, we'll help you with the permitting. And they gave us a timeline that we didn't think was feasible, that they would step through the federal permitting process, and they beat it. They beat it. We're ready to break ground in 60 days, and we didn't think we'd be anywhere near that. So a lot of things.
Yeah. What's next? Nothing, moving into another state?
Well, moving to another state, and this is a pork plant. So, but we'll be. What's next is moving into further value-added pork products in the state. So we bought in this area 500 acres to be able to expand that footprint. And the beauty of it too is it took a while to develop. It was important that because of the values and some of the things that this group has talked about, that we needed producer partners that had a common mindset. And there were some individuals that we said, it's not going to work for you. This isn't connecting to where you want to be. But it took some time to bring a collective group of family farmers in Michigan, but also Ohio and Indiana, to come in with a common vision in regards to producing the kind of product that we're looking to.
Senator, in Washington, you oftentimes have to work in a very partisan environment, but is there something about agriculture that cuts through Democrat, Republican politics, independence, that there's something we can learn that we can apply to other areas?
Well, I think even though it was difficult and long to get the Farm Bill done, the reality is that we do understand as a country that this is a basic, and we all eat. Obviously, we all care about our food. The differences in agriculture relates to different regions and what you grow, and sort of putting all that together. People have different interests around agriculture. But I think what was important about the effort that we put together was that everybody wanted to get it done. If you have the will to get it done, if you know it's important, you can do something. And I have to say that no other business has to get up in the morning and check the weather to determine what's going to happen in terms of their business. This is the riskiest business in the world. We have the most productive farmers and ranchers in the world. We are, in fact, feeding the world, and the growth and innovation in technology is amazing. And so there's room for everyone. I mean, we need American farmers to be feeding the world, we also have a great opportunity for local foods and expanding opportunities for our local farmers, and again, entrepreneurs. I mean, I think for me, what was really important in this particular farm bill, as we made some paradigm shifts, was to actually look at ways to add value through local food hubs and local systems so that we could create more local businesses. And that's what Eastern Market is doing. I mean, we're talking about business after business after business of people who have an idea, have a product. You know, McClure's Pickle started with Grandma's pickle recipe, you know, and look what they're doing now. And so there are so many entrepreneurs, if they have the financing, the support, commercial kitchen, that will help them get started without spending $100,000 to put their own kitchen together. That's the importance of the commercial kitchen. And then to have people, frankly, like people here, and I want to just say, in terms of Walter and Whole Foods, making a commitment to put local food products in the stores. And, you know, I can't say enough about what Walter and Whole Foods has done to really help us move this economic engine forward. So thank you.
Yeah, and with respect to having $100,000 to put in business, my girlfriend at the time did not have $100,000. So details. You know, Chuck, I think what excites me the most about what's happening is I don't see this trend reversing itself. This trend of people wanting fresh, all natural, wholesome, genuine, locally made food products. I mean, anybody who's had a Bell's beer out of Kalamazoo, can you imagine going back to drinking Budweiser?
I know.
It's just not going to happen. I mean, this country has really crossed the Rubicon, and so everything that we've talked about here, I just see continuing, and I really do believe that Michigan is positioning itself beautifully as a community to foster an entrepreneurial food network. And again, every now and then somebody's going to break through, and before you know, you're the largest employer in your community.
I just have to say one thing on Bell's beer. They were getting their hops from Germany. They went to a local farmer outside Kalamazoo and said, you know, we don't have to go all the way to Germany. Can't you grow hops here? They started hops farms, and I went to, in Grand Rapids a few weeks ago, the first national hops farm conference in Michigan. And so it's now, they're growing hops everywhere for beer. So it's amazing.
I think you rankled a couple of Bud Time people out there, though.
We got 50 seconds left. Walter, Robb, we start with you, we'll end with you. The next step for Whole Foods.
You know, the next step is, 2015 represents, I think, a watershed moment for this conversation about food in this country all the years. And I think, just like the state itself is it poises this opportunity post the grand bargain, for us and for other companies is to take full advantage of the fact that people are really interested in food now. And so we're just going to go full speed ahead. We're going to open a store a week, continue to grow the company, and there's many other companies that are growing very nicely. And I think we're going to continue to promote fresh, healthy food in this country and all the health that it brings.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Craig Edsill, Walter Robb, Senator Debbie Stabenow, and Dave Zilko, thank you so much for joining us at the Grand Hotel, and thank you to all of you.